Welcome to ChessWire. I'm your host, Adam Carter, with your chess news. Today is Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. In your headlines today, the Hans Niemann interview, Hans strikes back. Also, given recent events, will there be a bumpy road ahead for the Chess.com Play Magnus Group merger? And last, I debunk the old Raspberry Pi and the Chew theory. All this today on ChessWire. All right, we're going to get right to the Hans interview. Let's see what he had to say.
We got to speak about the elephant in the room. You've asked to have some words. Floor is yours.
So there's been a lot of things that have been, this social media stuff, and I have a lot of things to say, and I've thought a lot about what I want to say and how I'm going to say it, and I think I can just, maybe I'll forget something, but let's just discuss a few things. So. First of all, my accent, I'm sorry. This is just the first thing. This is just the most funny thing. Because if you want me to speak like an American right now, I can't even tell. But for the last 2 years, I have lived in a suitcase traveling around Europe playing chess nonstop. I spend so much time working on chess that I simply don't go outside and socialize with people who speak fluent English.
All right, so I wasn't ever concerned about the accent thing. I just thought, oh, maybe he's being a little pretentious, or who knows. I know from time to time, I live in the Midwest, so from time to time, I myself, if I'm talking to somebody who's got that Midwest twang, I notice my Midwest twang comes out. So that's just part of the environment. He's been over there nonstop, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's go ahead and keep going.
So all these things saying that I'm faking an accent, and that I'm putting on some facade, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. And if anyone is using my newfound accent to make any conclusions about anything chess related is absolutely insane. Okay, first of all, the Magnus opening. Okay, now let's get to that. So people were saying that there was no idea why I checked this. Well, first of all, people are absolute idiots because the explanation I'm going to give is going to make you all the top GMs look like total idiots. So the position, first of all, they said there was 0 game. There was a game. Check the database. There's this thing in chess called transpositions. Okay. Now, when he played the move a3, of course I'm expecting the move knight f3. Now, let's say in the
Now, I did check this out. I dug into it. I found the game. There was a game between Wesley So and Magnus Carlsen in Calcutta or somewhere like that, and I think it was 2018. It was a blitz game, and it was a G3 Nimzo transposition. Actually, Nigel Short pointed it out in a tweet the other day, yesterday.
Catalan. No, let's show it because this is just embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off hostile. It's just a passionate thing for me. So let's go to the. So after bishop. So let's say the Catalan. Let's say the Catalan.
With the knight f3 move order. You mean?
Yeah. So let's say you play knight f3.
Okay.
d5, g3, bishop b4 check. Wait, there's a move knight c3 here, and then after castles, there's a move bishop g2, and after dc4, a3, bishop c3, bc3, c5. We have in chess we call it transposition. Now. Let's say theoretically.
Now, I don't know, but I think the other day he was tired when he was doing analysis and Hikaru was making fun of him. He seems pretty spot on and sharp today. I'm thinking it was just nerves. He was tired. He was getting hit with a lot of stuff and he was just out of it. But yeah, he's on his game today. I think he sounds pretty good.
Also, I spent 15 minutes after the move a3. The reason I spent 15 minutes after the move a3, I don't know if the timestamps are there.
They are actually.
Yeah, so how much, there was one moment where I spent,
8 minutes.
14,
Yeah.
8 minutes, okay. Anyways, I was thinking more from an hour 30. In general, I've spent 15 minutes. Now, after the move a3, and now I play dc4, at this point, since it's not a direct transposition, I should obviously take some time to make sure that the position is going to be transposed properly. So I understood, at least not in most precise way, but I understood that there was going to be the move knight f3, thus leading to a transposition. So this is why I took some time. People are saying that I'm taking time and that I'm making up that in a minute. I checked it because it's a transposition. I'm spending extra time to make sure that the transposition is correct because it's the world champion, and he's just sprung a very dangerous trap. Now, if I don't know this, it can be very dangerous. But the fact that it's not a miracle, it's actually me being extremely tedious and going through every single possible transposition or sort of line that he could play in the Catalan. And then the fact that my analysis is not at the level of a top player. In my game against Ferrugia, you need to understand that when I play the move queen to g3, I did not elaborate this during the game, this is a purely psychological move. If clearly people don't know anything about Ferrugia, his style, how to beat him, the way to beat him is to attack him. He really, really hates being attacked, and the main ways he loses is by being attacked. Now, we had a game in Miami where I got an attack, and he completely collapsed. And I studied previous games, knowing he attacked. So when I see the position, and I say queen g3, I think to myself, okay, I highly doubt, based on my intuitive feeling, that I'm losing here. I don't feel the need to calculate every single variation because I'm confident that there's no way first he's going to take, and if he takes, he's going to be shared shitless. Okay?
All right, yeah, this really coincides and gives more weight to the article I was talking about yesterday by GM Jacob Agard, where he said that Hans plays very intuitively. He does things that are more in line with what's the psychology here rather than what are just like the very best moves I can play against an opponent. He's thinking about the opponent's psychology, and this is really adding up and making a lot more sense, and like I said, giving more weight to that post and to GM Jacob's analysis. So
the notion that I simply can't speak about chess on a high level is completely ridiculous. I'm a very intuitive player. I made a gut call to play queen g3, and it paid off. And even if you look at the pattern of my games, you know, it's I'm clearly missing many chances, and it's extremely human chess. No, okay.
And I just think he made a really great point right there. It's really human chess. That also is going to lend to his credibility here in his story because he's playing these gut type of moves. So how can you make the assertion that, like Hikaru did, how can you make a surgeon, oh, this guy's cheating, but look at these moves that he made during the game and they're really bad. So you can't have it both ways. It's either one or the other. There is a truth and there's, just sensationalism.
So in terms of the interviews, that's fine, right? So now I noticed throughout social media, a lot of people who I once had respect for, who I once sort of looked up to, a lot of my heroes have decided to hop on this bandwagon. Now, there have been a lot of speculation, and there's been a lot of things said, and I think I'm the only one who knows the truth. So there's a few things that need to come to light. So first of all, there's the situation with chess.com. Now, people have said that my chess.com was banned twice. Okay, so this is what happened. When I was 12 years old, I was with a friend, and I was playing Title Tuesday. And I was playing, and he came over on an iPad with an engine, and I was 12 years old, and he said, he started giving me the moves. I was a child. I had no idea what happened. Now, this happened once in an online tournament. I was just a child, and nothing happened then. Now, 4 years later, when I was 16 years old during my streaming career, in an absolutely ridiculous mistake, in unrated games, after that, when I was 12, I have never, ever in my life cheated in an over-the-board game, in an online tournament. They were in unrated games. And I'm admitting this, and I'm saying my truth because I do not want any misrepresentation. I am proud of myself that I learned from that mistake and now have given everything to chess. I have sacrificed everything for chess, and I do everything I can to improve. So I'm going to get started.
Something else that I want to point out here is, okay, so he's admitting that he cheated, and notice the age, 12 years old. Now, if there are any viewers out there who are, not that old, I understand, but I'm in my 40s now, and I would not want to be held accountable for something I did when I was 12 or 16, and especially it was online, it was on chess.com, there was no money involved, and he admitted it, chess.com found out and banned him. 12 years old, 16 years old, and he cheated online at chess. Who cares? Who cares?
Basically, I wanted to gain some rating. I just wanted to get higher rated so I could play stronger players. So I cheated in random games on chess.com. Now, I was confronted, I confessed, and this is the single biggest mistake of my life, and I'm completely ashamed. And I'm telling the world because I do not want any misrepresentation, and I do not want rumors. I have never cheated in an over-the-board game. Other when I was 12 years old, I have never, ever, ever, and I would never do that. That is the worst thing I could ever do, cheat in a tournament with prize money. Now, I made that mistake, and this is something, it's not something I was doing consistently. Never when I was streaming did I cheat. Never did I misrepresent my strength. So I made this mistake. I was confronted by chess.com. I had fully admitted, and I stopped playing chess.com. Now,
so he's never saying that he cheated over the board. That's a huge point. Now, there was this crazy rumor going around about somebody had programmed a Raspberry Pi. I actually found this article. It's by this guy named James Stanley. And I guess he had programmed a Raspberry Pi. And see, you can't really tell what the size of that Pi is right there. But here, let me switch to a different screen. We'll go to full screen. It's about the size of a mouse. Let's see, there it goes. So yeah, it's pretty big. It's pretty clunky. It's bigger than this actually. I have a Raspberry Pi. I went to go find it, but I couldn't find my Raspberry Pi. I've programmed a Raspberry Pi before. Usually people use Python, sometimes JavaScript. You have to install a different operating system in the thing. But basically, it takes a lot of knowledge to program one. You have to have a lot of years of experience in programming in something like a high-level language like Python. And then you can see here, like, you'd have to build these things for your shoe, and notice there's like a couple buttons in here that you can tap with your feet. They're all wired in, so you'd have to have this thing running down your leg with wires and everything. And then you have to hope that you are giving the moves to the machine properly, and then that you're interpreting the vibrations coming back from the machine properly. And then like after that, even if you're getting the moves from some type of engine, the security at these places is huge, and they're going to have engines running, making sure that you're not making stockfish moves. So this whole idea about the old Raspberry Pi and the shoe trick is just ridiculous. It worked for this guy. I read the article. It said he, played some friends in a pub and won, and then like the thing quit working on him. So you'd have to. There's no way that Hans learned how to program and play world chess chess at the same time. So this idea of the Raspberry Pi and the shoe thing, done. The other thing that they're saying now is that there was a leaked. He got a hold of leaked preparation. That Hans got a hold of leaked Carlsen prep, and we've just dispelled that as well. Hans just dispelled that by saying, hey, no, that wasn't the case. I prepared this move. There was a game between Carlsen and 18. It was a blitz game where he played G3 Nimzo. So there you have it. Let's keep going.
Unfortunately now, there has been a targeted attack, and some recent events have made it really, really difficult for me to not stop speaking. After the game against Magnus, obviously Magnus puts this tweet, clearly some insinuations, and then everyone starts to pile. I get an email from chess.com saying that they've privately removed access to my chess.com account and that they have uninvited me from the Global Chess Championship. Now, 3 days ago, I met with someone very high up in chess.com at the Singfield Cup, had amazing words. But because of this game against Magnus, because of what he said, they have decided to completely remove me from their website.
Now I want to kind of address that because I have my own hypothesis here. Not too long ago, we remember that the Play Magnus group and chess.com were merging, or there was an acquisition. I think it would be more considered, I don't know much about like economics, but I would consider it an acquisition. And I think that, there are a lot of jobs at stake. I know that there were some tweets like saying, oh, look at these good old boys, Magnus and chess.com and da-da-da-da-da, and so they're going to ban Hans. Now, I'm going to go ahead and, side on with chess.com a little bit on this one. I kind of get it. They don't want that bumpy road there with Magnus. Maybe Magnus said to chess.com, hey, ban this guy. We don't want him, da-da-da. Maybe it was somebody else in chess.com saying, hey, we want to make sure that this acquisition goes through smooth and we don't want any bumps, so let's like nip this in the bud. But basically, there are a lot of jobs on the line there, and they've, on both sides. And I know that they want to make this thing go smooth, and maybe that wasn't the best decision. Maybe Magnus can fix that by saying, hey, I don't think Hans cheated. Let's put him back there. And I think this all can be fixed. I hope it is. That is my analysis. Is there's this merger on the line. There's a lot of jobs on the line. They want to make sure that they're keeping both, the other side happy. And that makes a lot of sense to me why that happened. I think that will probably resolve, may go away. We'll see.
Now this is after I have already fully admitted, and they have the best cheat detection in the world. They know that I'm not a cheater, and that I give everything to chess. I work so hard, and chess is my entire life, okay? Now, if they're going to try to think that I'm going to be silent about what has happened, it is completely ridiculous. I met with Danny Wrench in Miami, and Danny Wrench was the person who confronted me, and I was deeply, deeply indebted to him for handling the ban privately and giving me the chance to redeem myself.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. I mean, Danny Rich seems to me to be a real gentleman. He's real funny. I like him. We're hearing Hans say, okay, he came up to me in Miami and said, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself. We want you back. We want you to play in this championship. And so this, to me, doesn't seem like some type of spiteful deal on Chess.com's part. I think this has to do with the acquisition. I think this is more about making sure everything goes smooth there, everybody's jobs are kept.
Now, after being not playing in Chess.com events, I went to over-the-board tournaments, and I decided to myself that the only way to make up for my mistake was to prove to myself and to prove to others that I could win myself. Now, that has been my mission, and that is why I've lived in a suitcase for 2 years. That is why I have played 260 games in 1 year. That is why I've training 12 hours a day, because I have something to prove. And now that Chess.com has suddenly decided to hop on Magnus's insinuations, Hikaru's very direct accusations, now they see the opportunity, okay, we're just going to get rid of this. I believe that this is completely unfair. This is a targeted attack.
Yeah, I mean, he is right, and it is unfair. It's definitely unfair, and I agree with him 100%. But at the same time, if something went wrong with this merger, if there, a bunch of jobs were lost, things like that. And I don't think he's considering that right now. He's 19 years old. He's not thinking bigger picture. It'd be really great if Chess.com could come out and, say what's going on, why this happened. I think it personally leads back to Magnus. I think Magnus is upset. I think they want the acquisition to go smoothly. They said that was going to take 6 to 8 weeks. So we're still right they're still right in the middle of that.
So why do you specifically why does the CEO of Chess come to me and say, we're looking forward to having the Global Chess Championship, we're looking forward to you playing on our events, and then right when I beat Magnus, they decide to remove my account and not let me play in the tournaments. This is absolutely ridiculous, and they've only done this because of what Magnus has said, what Hikaru says, and that the entire social media and chess world is completely attacking me and undermining me.
I love Magnus. I think he's a great player. I think he's the best. He's the GOAT. But I'm just getting a feeling here. I'm just getting a feeling. This guy got mad, basically behind the scenes accused Hans of cheating, and then went to chess.com and said, dump this guy. I would think that the acquisition had already went through, but I guess if it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it is, and I think he could have leveraged that to get Hans kicked out here. He wanted him to lose the tournament. He wanted him to not be able to play in any more chess.com events. I mean, I think Magnus is out for blood, and I think that's what's going on here. I think all roads lead back to Magnus just throwing this massive tantrum.
And they maybe would think that I would be afraid to tell the entire world that I cheated in some random games and I cheated in a tournament when I was 12 years old, but I'm not afraid because I know who I am and I know the chess player that I'm and I know what I give to chess. So I'm not going to be scared to be manipulated and to be conspired against to try to ruin my chess career when I know what has happened.
Yeah, and back to what I was saying earlier with Magnus wanted him to lose the tournament. If we look back here, Wesley So leads Sinkfield Cup after Carlsen withdraws. This just comes back to my theory. I think Carlsen threw a tantrum. He said, I think Magnus really thought that somehow Hans has cheated. I really do. I really think that he thought that, there was something leaked in his preparation or something, or the Raspberry Pi in the shoe deal. I don't know. I mean, chess players get paranoid. We all know, they all do, especially like Bobby Fischer and whatnot. So I think Magnus really, really believed this and decided, you know what, I'm going to withdraw from the tournament. he's going to lose the tournament. And then I'm going to go, since we know we just had this acquisition and they want things to go smooth over at chess.com, I'm going to get him kicked out of chess.com and the GM World Championship as well. And that's what I think that whole Joe Marino clip was about too, when in his tweet, oh, if I say what I'm going to say, I'm going to get in big trouble, so I'm not going to say it. Well, you know what? If you're going to get in big trouble for saying why you did something, maybe you shouldn't do that thing. Thank you for watching and listening to ChessWire. Have a good one.